Well, howdy diddly dandy there, chums. 'Tis I, Captain of the Steves, and today, chums, for you guys in the viewerverse, live in No Man's Sky, and looking at things I can do in and around my settlements first and foremost. And then I'm going to jump to a couple of random purple systems, but the whole time I just want to talk a little bit about speculation, what might be coming and when it might be coming into the verse. So let's get into this, shall we, people? Let's jump on over into game. And I'm at my Gex settlement at the moment. I've got something to show you at my Gex settlement, something that I built. I'll show you it in a moment. Here we go, let's view the citizen request. Okay, so it's just a commission of artwork. I thought it might have been a new visitor. In the new visitor, sometimes they've got a little bit of text that I could be hinting at something coming. But we'll have a look at my other settlements in a moment. I'll show you what I built here anyway. So, somewhere around here, I built something. Where's my little base marker? There's a little doohickey. Base. Oh, the screen's vibrating at the moment. Let's just fly up in the air. Let's see if we can spot it. Where are you? Let's just... Oh, there it is. There it is, right there. Okay, so what I've built over here, near to my saloon, is this. I've built a little creature pen. And it says pet eggs available here. Something that I really hope Hello Games add into game is something as simple as this, where you can put in some of your pets and then players can come over and collect an egg. Collect an egg of that pet. I think that'd be quite nice, especially at Gex settlements. I think it makes sense at Gex settlements. Anyways, let's head back on over. Zoom! So that's something that I hope they add in, is maybe a little bit more variation for each of the different settlements. It means rebuilding them though, wouldn't it, to get build opportunities. But then I kind of wish that at these settlements, maybe if you come over here, because this almost looks like a map anyway, you could hit this up and then you could actually choose different plots. And say like if you've got like free saloons or free marketplaces, you could choose one of your marketplaces and say, what would you like to swap this out for? And maybe you have to pay some nanites to do it or something, or some credits. But then I wish that we could swap it out for different buildings. If you do want multiple fishing ponds, you can. Or if you haven't got one of those crane arms at your autophage camp, you can swap something out. But only let you do that after you've managed to get your whole place up to S-class. I mean, we're overseers, for fudge's sake, you know what I mean? So it'd be nice to have that ability to swap out different buildings inside of your town. Anyway, let's head on over to one of my other settlements. And as I'm teleporting over to one of my other settlements, I can read some of your lovely comments, can't I? So let's jump on over. Let's have a look at the old live chat, see what we've got going on over here. We've got Death Trooper in the house. Hello there, Death Trooper. Old Explorer. Hello there, mate. We've got James. Hello, James. Andy. Hi, Andy. And we've got NMSA Unity. Hello, Captain Steve. Well, hello there, mate. When are we going to get an update? And that's exactly what I want to speculate about, to be fair. We've got Dylan Zachary. No Man's Sky was leaked 2 weeks early, exactly 9 years ago today. Was that leak where it appeared on eBay or something and somebody actually bought a leaked version of the game and then took to Reddit and put up loads of videos? Yeah, I remember that happening. And I was like, oh my days. And I still thought the game looked amazing, despite everything that they had shown. Yeah, collect a fine. Assigned to correctional seminars. There you go. There you are, mate. Off you go. Coolio. Right, that's that one done. Let's head on over to another one. Your settlements. And we're going to visitor waiting. Let's go there. Yeah, that was kind of funny in a roundabout way, wasn't it? But at the same time, not funny at the same time. 1 second. I have got a poll that I've just put live just before I went live. Let me just see if I can find the poll just while we're teleporting quickly. Over here. Bum, bum, bum. And posts. Let's just bring that over. So I've made a little poll over here. And I've just put, when do you think we'll see another update to No Man's Sky? And right now, 50% of people are saying early to mid-August, anniversary, No Man's Sky time, or late August, early September, after the summer break, 50%. Nobody has hit on October, Halloween big update, or want to see poll results, or I hope they just fix what we got now. So we've got that little poll going on. That's only just gone live in the last 5 minutes. So if you like polls and you want to get involved, head on over to my posts tab, and it's there. So, yeah. If I had to stake anything on it, I would say I think it's going to happen early to mid-August. I kind of feel that something's going to happen this year on the anniversary, mainly because I think next year, being the 10th anniversary, they would like something to happen on the anniversary. So I think they're pigeonholing it to get people used to the idea of following patterns. You know, they tend to like patterns sometimes, and then they don't others. So it's a little bit of a weird one. I really don't know. I don't know. But anyway, was that a visitor request? Did I just skip over that? Yeah, I think that was a visitor request, but he didn't have none of that lovely text that I was hoping to see. Anyway, we're jumping over to the last settlement, and then we'll start doing the Purple Planet expedition. I thought I'd do this boring stuff before the stream actually officially starts, you know, so the people that are here early got to see my settlements and hear a little bit of additional sort of ramblings. Anyway, I think we've gone past the time that should be live now. Yeah, it's a couple of minutes past actually, so we're all good. Nice one. Okay, settlement dispute. And this is all I'm doing at my settlements every time I log in, is just jumping from settlement to settlement and doing that. I haven't had many build opportunities. I've had 2 in the last week, which isn't that many when you think about it. Right, now we're going to go to a random purple system and continue on with a bit of speculation. We'll recheck that poll at the end of this video, so if you do want to take part in it, go stick something over there. Want to put a comment on it, you're more than welcome to, obviously. Righto, well, we're going to have a look at a purple system. Now, a lot of this stuff with the purple systems, I kind of thought that Hello Games were setting the stage. I mean, they're purple, aren't they, really? And the stuff to get you there is all made out of Atlantium. I kind of felt they were setting the stage for the autophage race. I thought we'd go to these purple systems and the stations would be autophage stations inside the purple systems and all sorts, you know? But that's not quite the case, is it, to be fair? Right, there's a purple one. Oh, it's all unavailable. Well, we'd go there anyway. We might have some weird looking planets there. At least I think it's purple. It's hard to say, isn't it? That one's definitely purple there. And that one. We'll go to that one. It's a gas giant. Heck yes. Gas giant time. Sweet. Now they've added in those, the ability to tag your planet. It makes it a little bit easier to navigate these gas giant worlds, doesn't it? Well, yeah, normally I would jump here on my freighter and use my freighter to scan all the actual system. In fact, I might just call in my freighter and do exactly that. To call in your freighter into purple systems, you need to put a purple drive in your actual freighter, I believe. So anyway, cool in. You all right there, George Hadley? I think Light No Fire will launch. Light No Fire, what, on their 9th anniversary? I kind of feel on the 9th anniversary we might get to see the Light No Fire website updated that Hello Games has got, and maybe the Steam page might get updated with a few more things. We might, if we're super lucky, get another trailer. I don't think we'll get the game launch, mainly because we're not seeing any pre-orders. I think what Hello Games will do for Light No Fire is like what they did with No Man's Sky, is have a load of pre-order bundles. You know, like how we could get the die-cast ship and all that sort of stuff. I'm hoping they do a collector's version of Light No Fire. Because if I like it as much as I think I'm going to like it, that's definitely something I'll be purchase-occated. Okay, well, these are all pretty ugly planets from looking at this screen. But let's go look at all... We'll leave the gas giant till last. But yeah, I'm going to add a little Pidgeot on that one. We'll go to that one first. Okay, let's head on out and let's have a look at the terrain and how gnarly they are. So anyway, going back to what I was saying about the purple systems and being earmarked for the autophage, I also figured that, you know, like the abandoned systems that we've got in normal space, I thought they might get brought into fruition as well. Allow us to like chart them and maybe then sell them off to the different alien races and bring them back into life. A little bit like we did in the Utopia expedition. I kind of felt that might be on the cards as a bit of an update. I kind of feel a lot of the stuff that we have had for No Man's Sky over the years has been a little bit shallow in a roundabout way. Okay, bear with me 1 second, let me explain. So, say like the Vile Brood and the Vile Brood mothers. You pick up a grub, you crush it, and you get to fight a brood mother, right? When was the last time you did that? Be honest. Okay, when was the last time you ran a derelict freighter? Again, be honest. There we go, we've got a new subscriber. Hello there, new subscriber. Nice to have you here. Or when was the last time you actually went fishing in No Man's Sky? If you've already caught all the fish, when was the last time you done a bit of fishing just for fishing's sake? Or when was the last time you actually built a skeleton out of bones? I mean, people are still doing that because that's still relatively new, so that's probably not the best example. But you see what I'm getting at? When was the last time you actually got out an exocraft and actually rode around in it? A lot of this stuff that they've added in has been very side hustly, or very fluffy dicey, as I used to call it. Fluffy dice. I kind of feel that the draw that drew me to No Man's Sky was that original E3 trailer with the Diplos wading in water, a rhino smashing down trees, stampeding creatures. All of that we still don't actually have. The things that made me go, oh my god, I want this game, still isn't in the game. And we're 9 years in, and I kind of gave up on that dream some time ago, because it seems to be that rather than get all the stuff that we thought we was getting, we got fluffy dice. But a lot of the fluffy dice that we have had, admittedly, is things that the community and even myself has asked for. So, you know, sometimes you've got to be careful what you ask for. Maybe we should have just continued hammering the drum. I want those freaking majestic Diplos. I want the super formula. Rather than, I would like more rhyme and reason to digging up ancient bones. It's like these things, these giant abandoned wheel things here. These, what are they called? Boundary failures. I want them to be activated so we can go through into the realm of glass. But what I don't want them to do is just teleport you to another purple system. You know, I kind of want... You know the lore of Artemis, where they said that there was the emissaries of glass chasing Artemis, and the actual world there would cut you to ribbons and all this sort of shenanigans. I would like them to take that lore and realise it into actuality and into game and birth it properly into the game as to what was expected when it comes to the actual text equivalent. Oh, we got another subscriber. Hello there, Yo-Yo Dine. Welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for subscribing. Much appreciated, I guess. So yeah, it's a little bit odd. I do use the Pilgrim from time to time, says Mad Hatter. I do call in... I've got one... The one I use is the little one that hovers. If I ever use one, it's that. Or I would use the Exomech. If I'm on an extreme planet, I might use the Exomech. The only reason I use the Nomad, though, is to use the scanner. And it's usually to scan for a monolith. That's all I use it for. And then once I've gone to the monolith, I can find a portal. That's all I use it for. I don't ride around in it because it's just quicker now to fly my ship, because it's got the aquajets as well, and I can land on water. So what's the bloody point? But yeah, I do want these things to become activated. These giant, colossal boundary failures. I mean, at the moment, you get some really cool lore from these. But once you've gone through all the lore, all you get is error, error, Atlas, error, error, error. They see you. Who sees us? I mean, that's plural. So I don't know whether that's the Void Mother. I don't know whether that's supposed to be the Sentinels, or whether that's the emissaries of glass, you know, that saw Artemis. I mean, these things are big enough to fly your ship through. And they've been here for ages. They need rhyme or reason. There's a lot of stuff in this game that does need tying up and does need finishing off, and that is definitely one of them. Right, where'd I put my bloody ship? No, you know what? I can't find it. I'll just call it in again. Ah, beeps. Anyway, here's we got. Just join us. We got Utopia Expedition, I think, back in February. You could be right. Without looking, I wouldn't know, to be fair. Show us the mother, says James. Daniel Hipley in the house as well. Hello there. Nice one. I believe X and Y class systems are purple. Oh, okay, fair enough. That's probably an easier way of spotting them. I mean, this planet's quite nice. It's got some strange creatures on it. Look, it's got these flying, spiky ball creatures in it. Pow, pow, pow! Take that, spiky ball creature! Yeah! You're done for now. Oh, God. Look, it's spiking me. Okay, we've got Jago. Thank you, Jagaro Pedizes. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, your name. Thank you for some subscribings. Lovely. Right, well, we'll go to another planet now, people. Let's go and have a look-see. I kind of feel, though, you know, like the Utopia Expedition, it kind of gave us a bit of a profession in a roundabout way, didn't it? You know? It gave us something to do on a... pretty much on a down low. It was pretty cool. I kind of feel that they could do with adding professions into game. So maybe at the start of each month you can sign yourself up to being part of a certain profession, almost like an in-game guild or faction. So you could become part of the Mercenaries Guild or the Explorers Guild or the Merchants Guild, but then they should have separate like professions. Like inside of the Merchants Guild, perhaps you've got mining in there, resource gatherer, or even an explorer of the purple systems to come back with rare and exotic resources that you can't get anywhere else. And being one of these professions, you know, if you are to be mining asteroids, perhaps part of that could also be on a daily task to find yourself an anomaly detector and chart anomalies. But not only that, to sell certain parts that you get from mining asteroids to different sort of mining stations and things. And then at the end of the month, depending on how much you've done for that faction, you get rewarded with something. See, that's where I think Hello Games and No Man's Sky really lacks, is reward for what you do. It's like we've got all these milestones inside of the actual catalogue, haven't we? We've got all these little milestones inside of here. But you don't get given anything once you do it. It'd be nice if, like, once you actually become the ambassador and you've done a total of 100 missions or whatever, they actually give you something worthwhile having, like a new backpack or a new cape with this badge on it or something. Or even shoulder pads or something with those on. You know, some sort of armor set or even a multi-tool. Just something, anything, linked to all these sort of things. There's no sort of reward to what we do. And I feel that leaves some players feeling that this isn't gamified enough. Which brings me on to the fact that a lot of people say, Captain Steve, but it's a sandbox. You're supposed to role play things out. Well, I've tried that. You know, I've done the whole voiceover of EXO. Every time there's been a really big update, I start doing a role play where I voice act for EXO. I might do that again when we get another big update. But I think now it needs to be signposted well. I saw Professor Cynical try to do a little bit of role play the other day, and he really tried an immersive video, and it really backfired on him massively because people took it very seriously that he was going to grief the whole of Euclid. He was just doing what he'd done the first time around. He thought maybe he'd signposted it well enough, but clearly not. It's rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way. Whenever I do my voiceover EXO adventures, in the past, I've had people in the comments saying to me, Captain Steve, why are you pretending that you don't know how to play the game, or you don't know this or that? I'm finding this really weird. I'm like, because I'm pretending I've had my memory wiped because of the lore in the game. I'm pretending I'm in the game. It's role play. It kind of falls short. I think if Hello Games added in the professions into the game, I think that could really help people with the role play aspect, because you can role play as a profession. It's like if you join the Mercenaries Guild, you could actually pick up fighting bugs and taking on the vile brood, like these things. And if you encounter this out in the wild and start fighting it, perhaps it just does like it would if you did pop up grub and you just start battling it and little baby ones are popping out and all sorts of stuff, you know? I think that'd be pretty darn cool, especially if you've got all the worm babby nests going off at the same time as well, and all the little green horrors coming at you. Yeah, that could be really good frickin' fun. Or you might get a mission to take out a load of sentinels, corrupted and otherwise. I think that'd be pretty darn cool. This is actually a really super sweet planet. I like this planet a lot. If you guys do want to come here, there's the actual coordinates on the screen right there. I'll make it a little bit darker. There we are. So there's the coordinates, and it's inside of Euclid. It's inside the purple system, so you're going to need yourself the purple drive to get here. But yeah, this is a nice planet, and I really like these bugs. They're really quite cool. Anyway, let's head to another one. Normally I would scan everything and name it after the people in the chat, but because I'm doing a little bit of speculation and talking about my wishes and what I hope comes to No Man's Sky, I figured I wouldn't do that. It'd be a little bit too distracting, to be fair. And I do use the programs, says Manhattan Lovely, or the holographic comms tower. Yeah, there's things that they could add functionality to like that, to be fair. Or the holo terminus after we've actually done the storyline. It'd be nice if there was more rhyme or reason to even that, really. I don't know what, though, you know. Right, we'll go to this one next. Let's go there. Let's have a look at that one. A lot of these planets might look fairly similar, come to think of it. Oh, that's that monolith I marked earlier, isn't it? Where is it? There it is, over there. Righto. And what's the other one? So I've done merchants, mercenaries, which is the other one? Explorers Guild. So Explorers Guild could just be about going to the abandoned systems, scanning as much as possible, and then selling them on, a bit like the Utopia expedition. That'd be one of the things that I expect to see in the Explorers Guild. There could be other things added inside of the Explorers Guild, like maybe doing or partaking in fishing and trying to catch a certain amount of fish, or even digging up ancient bones and trying to find the rarest of bones and building rare structures. They could tie that into some of the latest content that they put out there now and build some professions around that. I think there's quite a lot they could do, to be fair. I mean, the whole Vile Brood stuff they did in the Liquidators expedition, and that kind of worked as like a bit of a profession, in my opinion. So I think if they brought in professions and they rolled around what you could get each month, and you can choose which faction you want to align to and what you want to do, it'd almost be like having concurrent expeditions to do, and they could just rotate out the rewards for doing them on a year-to-year basis. So one year if you did the Explorers Guild in January, next January if you did it again, you get a different reward. And so yeah, it's something that they'd have to update every now and again, but not massively. Anyways, we're down at this planet here. I think that could work quite nicely. I think that would bring players back each month to at least look at what's on offer when it comes to rewards for doing tasks. Sound off. Do you like that idea? I think that's quite a nice idea. Another idea that I think they could really capitalise on is I often see the likes of Jason Plays, Beeble or Survival Bob doing their survival series. Or I see other players trying to bring in their own versions of the Survivor and doing something else, like the no HUD or the abandoned mode. It's like we've got abandoned mode, which is really nice. But it'd be nice to have more toggles inside of the settings, inside of our actual settings, to do more. We've got quite a lot of toggles already, but it'd be nice if there was, under difficulty or whatever, it'd be nice if there was like a sandbox game mode list of settings. So you can toggle no starter ship. You can toggle on no HUD or whatever. And that game mode, like how you can share byte beats to other players just by going over to your byte beats module. Perhaps they could have another icon here for game modes. And then you pick up your game mode that you've created and you can share it to another player. And that player can use it and fire it up like they would an expedition and just play your game mode, so they could do the Survivor series or whatever. Oh, this is quite a cool planet with all this vegetation. What are these things? These are cool, aren't they? I don't think I've seen these sort of capillary shells before. They're very cool. I like those. They're really nice in coloration. Very funky indeed. And we've got plant life creatures on this planet. The land of the Triffids, I guess. Very cool. Permadeath Expedition was my favourite. Oh, the loop one. Yeah, that was pretty darn cool. See, even that, there could be a toggle for roguelike. So you could toggle that on. So every time you die, it sets you back. But then have roguelike options underneath of what you lose and what you keep. I think that could be really cool down your Hipley as a game mode. I think I'd give that a go. Voice acting would be a nice feature idea. Yeah, if they could lip sync, like when you use your mic. There was that game that Jason was playing just the other day, Peak, and that was all lip synced. So every time you spoke, the character's mouth moved. If they added that to any of the alien visages, or like the Gek or even the Viking, because you can see their mouths inside of No Man's Sky, I think I would choose a character that didn't have a helmet. Maybe something more alien, maybe even a Gek, I don't know. Maybe that's going a bit too far. I don't think I'd ever choose a Gek. But there we go. If it was voice acted like that, or voice synced, I probably would. Okay, done that one. Let's go and have a look at this one quickly. I mean, you've seen how I've gone to these planets and I just land on them, then take off and fly away again. Even on these new ones now in the purple systems, I kind of feel like I've seen virtually everything that's on offer. I could be wrong, but I kind of think I have. Sorry there, people. Just needed to cough. But yeah, I feel Hello Games needs to add in a little bit more of what was on offer in their original trailers. Add in those majestic Diplos. Add in some creatures that can actually do terrain damage, like that rhino knocking down trees. Give us a little bit of that. So there's the unexpected on planets. And also really nice photo opportunities on planets when it comes to the fauna. But also try to add in as much as you can when it comes to super formula. I mean, I know that you've done quite a lot, Hello Games, in these purple systems and made them far more varied when it comes to terrain and gnarlyization. But I think that you missed a trick with these systems, because you could lock them off and say, right, in the purple systems there's no base building, and because of that we've made them really crazy, these planets. These planets are super formula generated, and you know, something like that. I don't know, really go to town on the amount of variety on these planets. If it trades off the base building in the purple systems, then fair be it. Or just to make it so you can only put down a certain amount of base parts, a limited amount of base parts on one of these planets or something, I don't know. Or just a teleporter, a way to get back there. Or add a new building type that's got a teleporter built into it so you can get back here. But then again, as long as you've gone to the station in these systems, you should be able to get back here anyway. But yeah, a new building type that's got a teleporter in would solve that problem, wouldn't it, to be fair? Here's a good one. Facial expressions for the alien visages. Yeah, you can do that inside of Star Citizen on PC, but you need to have an eye-tracking camera to be able to do it. That it recognises your face and tries to put the facial expressions on. But yeah, nice idea, I suppose, in a roundabout way. Now we've got Pharaoh in the house. Hello there, Pharaoh. If you haven't checked out Pharaoh's channel, Pharaoh does content. If you like my content, I think you'll like Pharaoh's channel. He's very much a UK type chap as well. A small expedition-like mission for each NPC at the anomaly, with occasional rotating rewards would be cool to finally earn the unused friend of titles. Pharaoh, I've said the same thing. I would like backstories added in for each of the different NPCs. Yeah, backstories like little mini expeditions, just like you said. Yeah, I've said that before in previous videos, definitely. Because at the moment, each of those NPCs, they look awesome, but we don't know why they're there. It'd be awesome to have backstories for each of them as little mini expeditions. You're quite right. Well, it's quite a nice planet. We're pillared one, but we've seen pillared planets like a million times. We'll go to the actual nexus in a moment, or the spatial anomaly, whatever you want to call it, and I'll come up with a couple of ideas for each of them, you know. Anyway, let's head on over here. Let's go to that one. Your ass. We'll go in there then. Let's see if we can find that one, and then we go to the gas giant last. Zoom! Off we go. I'm surprised Death Trooper hasn't appeared. You know, he's inside the live chat right now. Normally, if I put out a portal code, he appears in my stream, and he's everywhere I am. Sneaky little Death Trooper. There's also known as Super Soccer Bear inside the game. You may have seen him in some of my previous videos. Liquidator's Expedition is my fave. I think my favourite, Death Trooper, has been Polestar. I really like Polestar, starting on the bridge of the freighter. I think that was one of my favourites, Polestar. And then I like the Cursed. I like the Cursed one. The only thing I didn't like about the Cursed was all the pop-up messages that you was getting all the time. That was a little bit... It got a little bit too much. They could have done with staggering those. But I really like the Cursed. The Cursed was one of my favourites. And then I'd say the same, Liquidators. Liquidators was my third favourite. Yeah. I like them all because they had a little bit of lore in them, and they shook things up a little bit. I like the ones that had lore. The ones I really didn't like was the cartographers. Cartographers, no thank you. That was just boring as hell. Yeah. And I didn't really like Relics all that much. Relics was hit and miss. It was alright. It had a little bit of lore, but not enough. It did a few things. You know, it helped showcase some of these new purple systems actually a little, didn't it? Yeah. It was okay. It was meh. It was like the rewards in it weren't all that good. I didn't like the stone armour. I didn't like the stone staff. And even the golems felt like a bit of a reskin of the Minotaur. It just felt a little bit lackluster, that one. Right, let's jump on out the ship. Let's have a look around on this planet. Well, this one's got relics on it, which is kind of nice. Quite a lot of creatures. Bit of a strange mix. But there's not been a planet that I've landed on that I've gone, wow. I mean, this is probably the best one out of all of them that I've seen this episode, isn't it? But I think they could make things a little bit more Super Formula-like. I am kind of worried for Light No Fire, though. Because Light No Fire is kind of No Man's Sky planets all stitched together into one giant planet. And to get from one biome to another, you're going to be flying on a dragon for a while, probably in the same direction, over swaths and swaths of landscape that probably doesn't look any more varied than what we're seeing in No Man's Sky right now, before you get to another POI, a point of interest, and another biome. And I can imagine there's going to be people that seek out the nicest of biomes, as like if there's one with pink blossom trees or something. You're going to see a collection of bases there, more so than anywhere else. Anyway, let's go and have a look at this gas giant. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know whether I'm right or wrong until we get another trailer, or we get an idea what the game is going to be like. I really do hope it goes well for them, and I'm really hoping that it does deliver on combat and makes it feel really cool. And just going back to Professor Cynical's PvP element that he wants to bring inside a game, I do feel that factions and PvP has got a place in No Man's Sky, considering we've got 256 galaxies. You know, they could just make it that every 6th galaxy is a PvP and faction orientated galaxy. So you got galaxy 6, 12, 18, 24 and so forth and so on. Every 6th galaxy. If you know your 6 times table, you know where I'm going with this. You know, or even if they didn't do it that way, even if they made it so if you wanted to set a system, as long as you've claimed the system, or use a station override inside of a station, maybe you could set the default to be in PvP on, and then maybe at the galactic map, if you do want to fly to one of those systems, it could warn you, warning, this is a PvP system, you can't turn PvP off, are you sure you want to go here? I mean, we've got conflict scanners that can show us all this detail from the galactic map anyway, so why the fudge not just do it, you know? So at least there's an option there for those players that want PvP. The only reason I don't want PvP is mainly because I know people are on PC and can use mods and end up with a really unfair ship or a really unfair multi-tool. But I think if you are to go into PvP systems, maybe they make it so it disables all mods. I don't know. You know? Or maybe that's one of the prerequisites, that you're not allowed mods turned on if you want to go to PvP or set a PvP system up. I think if No Man's Sky is a sandbox, they should cater for all players' needs and players' wants to a roundabout way. If they're not going to gamify things and go down the route of giving in rewards and gamifying it, at least give people the ability to RP their way through the game and add in RPG elements, you know? Like I have some pirate frigates, and they don't do pirate stuff. They become law-abiding, so to speak. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a pirate faction, you know? You know, like I was talking about earlier, aligning yourself to a certain guild or profession or faction. I mean, having a pirate faction would be great. It'd be awesome to be ransacking systems and shooting down law-abiding ships that you just see mining asteroids. That could be quite funny. Anyway, let's go and check on the progress of Johnny 5 quickly. I mean, it's like Johnny 5 himself. The Quicksilver Synthesis Companion. I call him Johnny 5 because it's like the robot out of Short Circuit. Even he could have a mission that we could actually partake in and earn ourselves a load of Quicksilver. We know that, you know, the Gek guy, Polo, built him. But maybe, I mean, he's obviously got an echo or some sort of personality or AI in him. Maybe he could set us on a mission to help strengthen or give him more of an echo or ability of companionship. I don't know. But he could set us on a mission. He could set us an expedition, couldn't he? But there's loads of these little guys just standing around. A lot of them are vendors, you know, like Helios or whatever. But it'd be nice to head on over to, say, Gemini, and Gemini would have his own little backstory tied into Hesperus. I mean, there's already lore with these two that was inside of the weekend mission lore. We know that these two have got kinship. These two done a lot together. There was mention that they were both orbs when they met each other the very first time. And now they've got bodies and they've got mass and they're inside of the spatial anomaly. So I think whatever expedition these two would give, I feel needs to be tied together in lore. And perhaps when you're actually doing their expedition, when you see other players are little balls of light like we used to be. I think that'd be a very nice nod to the actual already known lore that they've got. And part of Hesperus's lore is going to an abandoned station or abandoned building on a planet's surface And all of the entities there were Korvax, but they lost their shells and they ended up with orbs of light for head, almost like Null. He tried to simulate the actual void, and it failed, and it destroyed thousands of Korvax souls. I would love to see that actually realised inside of a little mini expedition that you could run. And perhaps somehow Gemini helps him close that project down if you run Gemini's expedition. I think Helios, with him having this tree-type stump head, it'd be nice if his expedition sent us to a load of jungle planets, really cool jungle planets, and had something to do with scanning flora and doing objectives to do around flora and gathering flora and maybe even making flora trinkets like edibles and things like that. I think that'd be quite a nice one to tie it into the way he looks, and maybe finding all those flora type creatures that you've got, you know, the ones we just saw on that Trifid planet earlier. That sort of thing could be quite cool. Awoo-ha! If that's your name, hello there. Captain Steve, found a black and red tank style sentinel ship that suits your library, sir. To be fair, I've already got a really cool sentinel ship. Let me just show you it quickly. Bam ba dam ba dam. Sentinel ship. And this sentinel ship, for fudge's sake, leave me alone. I'm trying to show people my ship, you freaking get back. Right, here we go. There we are. Called it in. I think he's going to send me another request in a moment. The guy's just following me. You know what? Let's turn multiplayer off. Right, no. Disabled. Get rid of him. There you go. There's my ship over here. It looks almost like a samurai shield. When it takes off, it looks pretty cool anyway. Let me show you it inside of here. That's my ship. And it's very cool, very cool. So I've already got a really nice sentinel ship, but thank you very much. Anyways, where were we? Oh, we go this way. We go this way. So we go see Ariadne now. I think everybody's going to guess what I'm going to say about Ariadne. So Ariadne, we had a load of lore to do with Ariadne. She disappears into the void. She disappears into the void and goes aboard a dark freighter. And who we've got standing here isn't the real Ariadne. This is an imposter. This is all part of the weekend summer lore. I would like an expedition or a mission that she gives you to go and actually pick up the real Ariadne, whether that's in echo fragments or whatever, and we get rid of this doppelganger. I think that'd be pretty darn sweet. So anyway, we'll head down this ramp and we head back over to where we were. So we've got Ares over here. And Ares, inside of Greek mythology, is like the god of war. I kind of feel if they are going to play counterpart to their actual in-life Greek mythology status, it's like Ariadne went missing aboard the Dark Freighter. Well, Ariadne was the daughter of the owner of a giant maze, and she went in there to rescue her beloved, who took on the Minotaur. It'd be nice if there was a giant maze type situation going on board the Dark Freighter that had a giant Minotaur robot walking around in it that's freaking immense and very hard to take out, and perhaps we have to use our own exomech to take it out. But we've got Ares here, god of war inside of Greek mythos. I'm thinking maybe going up against the Sentinels, maybe going further to afield inside of the galactic map, to the outer edges of the galactic map. Because inside the lore, the Viking pushed the Sentinels back to the outer regions. I kind of feel the further you go from the centre, Sentinel incursions and Sentinel planets should get more and more advanced. And I kind of feel that, you know what we see with like the autophage camps now, maybe they could start appearing around the outer edges of the system, but be like massive Sentinel planets in structure. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think we've got everything we need to make giant Sentinel planets inside a game, but I think almost like, you know, like the Borg cubes and the Borg spheres. I think we need whole planets that look Borg-like, that are Sentinel planets. Anyways, heading over here, we're going to go and see Cronus. And Cronus, inside of the actual lore, there's Kronos and then there's Cronus. There's two different gods. Kronos is the god of time. This guy is not him. This guy is Cronus. This guy ate his own siblings, his own children. Freaking horrible inside of Greek mythology. Hence why I think we have to bring him cooking and recipes and stuff like that. But it would be nice to get his backstory and, I don't know, Maybe he could have lunched at Gex spawning pools, I don't know. But they could do something with him, I'm sure. But I think using a bit of Greek mythos might work quite nicely. Freighter Maze Minotaur, exactly, Pharaoh. Heck yes. I'm wondering in the building if we see Light No Fire as a little like settlements rather than bases with NPCs building like the RTS game. Pharaoh, I hope not. I hope there's more to it than that. I mean, it did look like people carrying logs, and it looked like there was people building walls. It did look like individual base parts, but until we see the hologram system, we can't say for sure. And were those NPCs or were they other players? It said all footage captured inside a multiplayer. It's hinting that it was multiplayer built. But because of the No Man's Sky trailers that we saw, with the whole majestic diplos and rhinos smashing down trees, I'm a little bit, until I actually see, I think Hello Games learnt their lesson from that trailer, but they might not. You know, some of that could have been scripted. I hope not. We need another trailer. We need more info on Light No Fire. We need it rather desperately, because I am a little bit concerned about it, to be honest. Pretty nice Sentinel message. Understood. Happy travels. And by the way, not sure if you're aware, you can still use the elixirs, Quicksilver. Yeah, to still fight, yeah, you can, indeedy doody, you can. I kind of feel that everything that was in the Cursed expedition was too nice for Hello Games to throw away. I kind of think we're going to see a lot of what happened in the Curse with the jellyfishes appearing and stuff might actually happen in the Realm of Glass or inside of the Void. I'm hoping that they bring them in anyway. That'd be kind of cool. We've got Hyperion here, Cuttle Shuttle Head. To be honest, I don't know a lot of Greek mythology about Hyperion. I don't. So I don't really know what I would say or suggest for a backstory for Hyperion inside of Greek mythos. I haven't researched the guy, to be fair. Or Selene, for that matter. I don't know much about Selene inside of Greek mythos. But maybe I need to do a little video on the Greek mythos behind these two characters and come up with some ideas. I mean, we've got Eos over here, and again, I don't know much about Eos in Greek mythology, but I do know about Perseus. So Perseus, you know, he was in the old Clash of the Titans and ended up taking the Medusa's head and turning the Kraken into stone. We could have a freaking awesome expedition built around him. They could introduce a new Sentinel Medusa. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Like a giant sentinel robot in space that's got loads of tentacles, and it can actually freeze your ship with a death ray that almost turns it to like stone in space. Like maybe a load of meteorites could clump onto your ship, slowly turning it into stone. A Sentinel Medusa type enemy. That'd be epic to come across something like that in space. Heck yes. I think I made a video on a Sentinel Medusa years ago. I don't know whether it's still on YouTube, but it might be. I did go around and do Greek mythology ideas videos for each of these in the past, but I think it'd be nice to redo them. We got Mercury. Now, Mercury is also known as something else inside of Greek mythology, not just Mercury. I don't think it's Apollo. It might be Apollo. But yeah, he's a messenger. He's a messenger, basically. A little bit of a boring character in Greek mythology in a roundabout way. But at the same time, was it Icarus that had the boots that went too close to the sun? I always get mixed up with some Greek mythology. But again, I might have to revisit him. But again, it'd be cool to have a nice expedition around him. Especially since he's standing right in front of this blinking portal. I mean, he could send you pretty much anywhere, couldn't he? It could be a real cool expedition just to hit him up and he sends you through random portals to do random stuff. In fact, that'd be quite nice. He doesn't have to have an expedition tied to story. It could just be random portal hopping, a little bit like I do, with a random task associated to it. I mean, it would give me a video to do every freaking week, wouldn't it? Let's face it. Tethys is one of the demigods of the waters. And there is the River of Styx that takes you to Hades. And then there's the Furies, which are these three witches that kind of control fate. And Tethys is kind of the god of all of that. I mean, if we were ever to go into the abyss, into some sort of water dungeon, or into Hades itself, Tethys would be your man. Like it. And so there could be some really cool lore behind him. Apollo was pretty core to the Greek religion. Yeah, I think he was, wasn't he, actually? But, yeah. I can't remember whether Mercury was renamed as Apollo, or was it Hermes? Hermes was renamed, not Apollo. Apollo, you're right, was very essential to Greek mythology. It was Hermes, and Hermes had a staff of healing inside of it. And there's some people that feel that Hermes' rod of healing was actually the rod that got passed to Noah inside of the Bible. There's a lot of connotations around that. I mean, we still see the staff of Hermes on the side of ambulances over here in the UK. And it's like the Caduceus, the symbol with the wings aloft and the entwined snakes. They were said to be on the staff of Hermes. So yeah, maybe there could be some sort of missions run by Mercury over here linked to Hermes that gives us better hazard protection, the ability to regenerate and all that sort of shenanigans, maybe all the foods to regenerate your health bar, all that sort of good stuff. Or even rebirthing a new star, that could be linked into it perhaps. This guy that we've assembled, I think needs to be used for raids. I think we need to be hitting up raids into the realm of glass to bring back echoes and do things and the bidding of the Void Mother from inside of here. I know that we already sort of shield ourselves from the Atlas and from the Sentinels inside of here. Maybe the Void Mother might become an adversary of Apollo and Nada. And maybe having this chap here is like a radio to the Void Mother, who's trying to also protect us and also travellers from the actual Atlas and the collapsing of the actual simulation in another way. Maybe she's going to be giving us our salvation inside of the simulation in some sort of subroutine inside of the void and inside of the realm of glass, which could be another take on things, people inside the viewerverse. But I'm hoping that we see something to do with the Void Mother and also Ariadne's storyline being put inside of the game anyway for this year's Halloween update. That for me would be a massive tick in the box if they did that. I would be overjoyed if they did that. Yeah, Noah, laugh out loud, fable, myth, never happens, says Oberian Pan. Yeah, you could say that, but other people, they swear that it's true. Everyone is allowed their opinion on where all this stuff comes from. I mean, Noah living for 300 years and maybe was the offspring of the Nephilim. Well, what are the Nephilim? Fallen angels to some. But I kind of feel if you take the word angel and demon and replace it with the word alien inside of the Bible, things make a heck of a lot more sense. You know, I guess back then they wouldn't have had the word for alien. You know, what if aliens came to this world? What if aliens gave Noah the technology to house the DNA of every single animal on the planet and then gave him some kind of craft to weather all this water? It could have been a UFO, let's face it, and take on all of the animals' DNA inside of this rod and then rematerialize them after the floods. You know, think of it that way. Do you like that idea more now that I've added sci-fi to the Bible? Oh God, people, you know, has that appeared to you more now? Do you suddenly believe in Noah? Noah entrusted with alien technology. There we are. One of the things you should never talk about on a stream is religion. I just mentioned Noah, which just happens to be a character. So anyway, there is that, you know. Anyhow, people. So there we go. Let's jump on out of the ship. This is so interesting. Well, thank you, Miriam. I'm glad you found it interesting. We could ever see two faction mini games with the Atlas versus the Void, with the anomaly as neutral. Yeah, Pharaoh, I kind of felt that that's where they were going with all of this. When we built that little autophage guy up there, the man spider as I call him, we actually had to align ourselves with either the Void Mother or the Atlas, and I kind of thought that that would give us this offshoot. You know, in the Atlas Eternal Path mission set that we've got, the Atlas Eternal here, you know, you had to align yourself with either the Atlas or the Void Mother. I kind of thought that that's exactly what we was doing. I thought we was building the path for that. Maybe that might happen. You mentioned the Bible too. I could mention all of them. You know, I've read the Torah, I've read the Quran, I've read the Kabbalah. I've looked into Hindu gods and their sort of religion as well. Not as in depth as the other main Abrahamic religions, but I had a near-death experience when I was younger. So I got heavily interested in spirituality. I don't know whether my experience with my near-death experience was chemically induced by my brain releasing chemicals. You know, your brain releases chemicals for you to dream. And that chemical is called dimethyl-tryptamine, DMT for short. There's a video that you can watch on YouTube. It's called DMT, the spirit molecule. If you watch that, it's about scientists using this DMT chemical inside of lab conditions on people, and they all reported the same things. And I'm wondering whether my near-death experience was just my brain releasing DMT into my system to help me cope with what was happening at the point that I drowned. Or was it something else? Was it something spiritual? Or is this chemical, DMT, which is found in every living creature across the planet and in most plants, could it be that that is the spirit molecule and that is what ties us to a higher consciousness? I mean, they have measured the weight of the body at the point of death, and it loses something like 33 grams or something. And so they feel that the soul itself has weight. Oh, there's some weird stuff out there if you really want to dig into it, people. I mean, I love all this sort of stuff. I mean, I could have done a whole channel just based on weird stuff if I wanted to. I mean, I have got my Captain Steve Talks area of my channel, and I do talk about some strange fringe stuff, cryptid sightings, ghost sightings, alien sightings, but maybe I need to talk about all this sort of stuff a little bit more, mythology and strange tie-ins with ancient scripture and text, you know. But you know, it is what it is. I don't have DMT since an accident years ago, says Jay. Oh, that's not good. That means I don't know what your dreaming world will be like, but I would miss that massively if I didn't have a dreaming world. I'll tell you that much for free. Yeah. You're right there, Miriam. Yeah, thank you very much for being here, and George Hadley, and all members that are here watching right now. Thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you very much everybody that's just viewing, just as a viewer here on YouTube. Thank you very much. But I'm going to be ending off now, so if you want to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really does help the algorithm in pushing this sort of video out. And I will probably do videos like this each Tuesday from here onwards on the lead up to hopefully something happening in the verse. I honestly think it's going to happen early August to mid-August. And if it does, oh, I did promise that we'd go and have a look at that poll. We'll see how the poll's getting on. Let's go and have a look at that quickly, shall we? So, quick to desktop, let's get out of here. Yeah, go on and upload my save. Why the fudge not? Let's just bring the poll up. You know what, let's hit Winamp as well. Let's have a bit of Winamp on in the background. And my lovely backgrounds, lovely. That's animated background, that's called, I can't remember, wallpaper machine or wallpaper engine, that's what that's called. But here we go, here's the poll. Let's give it a refresh then. Boom, let's scroll on down. And we've had 38 votes in the time that I was live. That's really good. Well, thank you very much, everybody that's taken part in this poll so far. So, we've got early to mid-August, when I think it's going to happen. 66% of people have hit that up. That's good to see. Late August, early September, 21% after the summer break. I think as kids go back to school, I mean, let's face it, No Man's Sky really does appeal to the older players, mainly I think because of the lore and everything else that goes with it, and just because it's kind of what we grew up on, let's face it. October time, big Halloween update, 8% of people. I kind of think that we're going to get an update in August, and then I kind of think towards the end of October, right by Halloween, we might get a Halloween update as well. And yeah, I know that might sound a little bit greedy and expectant, but other years we have had summer update along with a Halloween update, and there has been a big push towards the Void Mother, which is super creepy, and I kind of feel that that would fit Halloween. So a lot of the stuff that we've talked about in today's episode, I kind of feel half of it might go into a summer update and the other half might go into a Halloween update, but I honestly do think 2025 is going to shape up to be quite a large year. I know we had Worlds Part 2 in January, which was big anyway, but I kind of see that's kind of a throw-off from Worlds Part 1. Those two are kind of one thing. I kind of see that as 2024, and that might be a little bit unfair. But so far, I don't think 2025 has massively delivered. It's delivered something, you know, it's given us relics, which is nice, and it gave us the bones and all that sort of shenanigans, which is great. But it also gave us beacons, which so far has been the buggiest update known to man, And also all it done really is add in time gates into everything. Broke the heck out of textures and upset the base building community massively. But it did give us a load of new base parts. So once they do fix out all the texture issues, I think the base builders are going to be quite happy with what they got with all these new parts, which is quite nice. I just feel that if Hello Games did polish that update a little bit more, it would have landed and felt a bit better. But at the moment, it's been a bit of a dual edge, that one, hasn't it? Yeah, it's made some people happy and has upset a lot of people at the same time. But yeah, I think they need if they could add in new stories, the ability to create our own custom game modes, NPC backstories with the new stories as well, and the ability to have professions tied to factions. I think that would be really nice. I also feel with PvP, it could work in some systems or some instances, but I think they need to really heavily gate it and put it on rails and vet it so you can't use mods if you want to go into PvP. I think all those things could bring players back massively and hold their attention. I also feel that Hello Games needs to go back and look at all the milestones and look at what rewards they could reward players for achieving each of those milestones, because at the moment they feel a little bit lackluster and a little bit pointless. There needs to be something at the end of it, even if it's just to reward players with a whole page of base parts or something. I also feel like when you go claim your base parts, they need a button at the top to claim all on this page and then a total for your salvaged data, because that would be nice. It's horrible having to click on each and every single one of them. Whenever you start a new game, I dread that. I also dread learning every single word all over again, and part of me even dreads redoing the Artemis storyline if you've already done it a bazillion times. Considering that we know that it's a simulation, I kind of feel that at the point that he hits you up, Artemis hits you up on the transponder, it'd be nice just to say, ignore, because you've already done it before. You know, so you can just ignore that. But then through playing the game, you still get your glyphs, you still get your bits and bobs that you need to progress, but in another format. Or they just get dumped into you. As soon as you hit ignore, bang, a load of blueprints pop up that you would get during the Artemis quest line and the glyphs. Maybe the Atlas calls you in instead and says you shouldn't have ignored a fellow traveller, but here you go, boom, here's a load of shite for you. I don't know. I just feel that they need a few things. I mean, I would like to hope that Hello Games can look at your save files and say, right, they've already done the Artemis quest line. Let's give them that option. Maybe you don't get the ignore option the first time you play the game, but the second or third time, yeah, the ignore option's there. Brilliant. I'm going to use that option. You know, hey, Captain, spoiler alerts, Captain. It's 9 years, George Hadley. 9 years, mate. Freaking 9 years. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Well, I know there's new players on Switch too, so you're quite right. Maybe I should have said spoiler alert or whatever. But it is what it is. I mean, there's yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I think I'm going to be ending off now, to be fair. But yeah, thank you very much for people taking part in the old stuff there. You know, the poll and whatnot. We've got Elon Paul in the house. Hello there, Elon Paul. This all sounds great, Cap. That would really open up the game so much more. It really would, especially for endgame players just looking for something to do that they haven't done before. I think a lot of those ideas have merit. Yeah, I can send this video over to Hello Games, I suppose, can't I? And maybe it's something that they could do. Hey, Captain, these are all great ideas. Do you have a business email you can be contacted at? I do, Dylan. Yeah, you can find it on my about page over on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and you head on over to my channel over here, boom, and we go over to more. And if you scroll down, I think my email is listed. There you go. There it is. No, that's not it. You click that button, view email address. There's my email address right there. So you can hit me up on that if you really need to. But I've got all the links here to all my socials as well. So if you want to hit me up on something else, you're probably better just to hit me up on Twitter. I use Twitter a heck of a lot. If you're on Twitter, just add me as a friend on there and you should be able to message me. I'm not blue ticked, so you should be able to message me anyway. Just hit a follow and you should be able to message me. I've got Discord. I only log into the Discord once a day. But yeah, that's the best way to get me is on Twitter or on email. But with Google, it's surprising what they throw inside of the junk mail and inside of spam. So yeah, just be aware I might not see it if you do email me. But anyway, peeps, going to end off now. Salutamondo. Goodbye, goodbye. And goodbye again, I guess. Coolio. Bye-bye.